He'll reset. Nowitzki again for the lead. Bang!
Three straight wins for your Dallas Mavericks. What's up, Mavs fans? You're tuned in to the All Things Mavs podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther, here to break it down as the Dallas Mavericks just defeated the Orlando Magic 112-98. And man, in a gritty victory for the Mavs, who were down without three role players, not including their second best player in Kristaps Porzingis. The Mavs get a win over another shorthanded team in the Orlando Magic, and I'm going to break every little bit of how it happened, including Luka Doncic's triple-double, Trey Burke coming alive, Bubble Burke is back, and Tim Hardaway Jr. stepping up when the team needed him the most. Such a good win for this Mavs team that's going into a tough stretch where they're going to be without three of their primary players for at least the next 7 days, up to 3 games, and now, at least the next 3 games, and now one of those 3 games is out of the way, and the Mavs can officially put it in the win column. Also get themselves over 500 for the first time this year. They're now 5-4 on the season in big time fashion on this Saturday night. Now, of course, as I mentioned, this was the Mavs' first game without their 3 guys that are currently out due to COVID protocols: Dorian Finney-Smith, Josh Richardson, and Jalen Brunson. Who tested positive, we still don't know. Whoever that player is will probably be out at least the next 10 days, but could be even less than that if they post 2 negative tests within 24 hours, or at least 24 hours in between. So the Mavs, again, no Dorian, no Richardson, no Brunson, no Kristaps Porzingis, no problem as they defeat the Orlando Magic. The Magic didn't have Markelle Fultz, he's out for the season. They didn't have Al-Farouq Aminu, he's out for an extended period of time. No Jonathan Isaac, he's out for the season. Chuma Okeke was out as well. And then Evan Fournier was a late scratch. He was actually questionable to play in this game already, and then ended up not playing due to back spasm. So with the Mavs being shorthanded, their starting 5 looked a little bit different. Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber, Willie Cauley-Stein, all those were pretty expected starters, but the 5th was a guy that I didn't even predict. Josh Green, the rookie out of Arizona, got the start from Rick Carlisle. Now, he didn't play all that well, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about him. He just really didn't make a whole lot of his time in his rookie, really starting debut. Played just 15 minutes, didn't make a shot, only had 2 rebounds. He was a -6 on the game for the game. Kind of frustrating. You want to see more out of your first round pick, but the Mavs got the win, so that kind of buried that problem for Dallas. Dallas never trailed by more than 6 in this game, and that was in the 3rd quarter when they hit a really bad slump. I believe the Magic run ended up being 15-3 was the big time run, and the Mavs went down by 6, but their largest lead ended up being 12 for the night, and they come away with a big time win, really against an Orlando Magic team that, like I said, they're depleted, but they've been pretty good this season. They were 6-3 coming into this game, now fall to 6-4. And of course, the most important stat of the night. I mean, look, Tim Hardaway Jr. was huge, Trey Burke was huge, but Luka Doncic gets his 2nd triple-double of the season. He goes for 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists in this one. Also, honestly, just played some stellar defense. I mean, he stripped Aaron Gordon multiple times in this game. He really, really did a number on Aaron Gordon, who only had 16 points, was 1 of 7 from 3, and 6 of 16 from the field, and a -3 for the game. I mean, 16 points isn't bad, but Luka Doncic was guarding him and played just an outstanding defensive game once again for the Dallas Mavericks, along with the triple-double. Also, 3 3-pointers tonight, 3 of 9, probably his best shooting night at 33%. Knocked down all 3 free throws that he took. Only 1 offensive rebound, and that was on a play that was just some Luka magic as he finished a little and one, a little scoop-de-doop. I don't even know what you'd call the shot, but he knocked it down. So Luka leads the way there for the Mavs with the triple-double in just 34 minutes. But I do want to talk about Tim Hardaway Jr. because Tim Hardaway Jr. came alive when the Mavs needed him most. And this is the second time that we've seen Tim Hardaway Jr. this season really step up when the Mavs desperately needed him. Obviously, in that Houston game, he stepped up huge. I think he knocked down 8 3-pointers in that one. He also made 8 3-pointers in this one as he went 8 of 13 from beyond the 3-point arc tonight. 12 of 20 for the game. 36 points for the kid out of Michigan. 4 turnovers, 5 total rebounds. He also had 2 assists, and he was a +6 in the box score. He played 40 minutes tonight. 40 minutes for Tim Hardaway Jr. So you could tell that Rick Carlisle was really, really happy with him. And Rick actually had this to say about Tim. What I'm looking for and what we're all looking for and what he and all of his teammates are looking for are guys that give each other energy. Guys that are willing to move the ball and willing to give themselves up to help each other on defense and things like that. And Tim, a great defensive night, even better offensive night, and it really, really was the reason the Mavs were able to win this game. I mean, 36 points, what would you have done without that? And this is a situation that the Mavs are going to have to see. They're going to have to look at guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Trey Burke who can step up on offense now that the Mavs don't have a reliable three-point shooter in Dorian Finney-Smith. I say reliable, he hasn't been great this year, but from the corner, he's been pretty darn solid. Obviously, no Josh Richardson, who's had an up-and-down season, and then the playmaking ability of Jalen Brunson is missing as well, so now you bring in a guy like Tim Hardaway Jr. to come in and start, even though he's been coming off the bench a little bit this season, and he answers with a 36-point night. I was extremely happy with Tim Hardaway Jr. I think all Mavs fans are. The thing I love about Tim is, look, yes, there are some times when he takes shots and it's a no, yes kind of shot. Like, I understand that with Tim Hardaway Jr., but in games like this where he's feeling himself, he looks like a legitimate number 2 to Luka Doncic on a consistent basis. And I couldn't have been more happy with what I got out of Tim Hardaway Jr. But another guy that I think we all kind of need to talk about a little bit here is Trey Burke. Bubble Burke is back, baby. I mean, look, I think we were all pretty frustrated with him offensively throughout the season, but now he comes in and is just able to have a 29-point night off the bench. And most of that time came in which he was playing with Luka Doncic. And I think that is so important to note because his talent is maximized when he's playing with a guy like Luka that can get him open shots and create the shots for him. Trey Burke tonight, 29 points on a +25 night, 7 of 8 from 3. For Bubble Burke, 11 of 13 from the field, 84.6%. 4 assists in the game as well. No rebounds, but again, Trey Burke, you don't really need him to go off for a lot of rebounds. Couldn't have been happier with the guy. Couldn't have been happier for the guy either. A guy who comes in and, he took a little bit of a pay cut probably to come to Dallas on a 3-year, $10 million deal or $9 million. And now he comes in and gives you huge minutes in a time when you really need him. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how he ends up playing when the Mavs get Jalen Brunson and Josh Richardson and Dorian Finney-Smith back. Because I think he has to play when Luka's on the floor. And if Luka's not on the floor, I don't think you're maximizing his talent. I wish Jalen Brunson was able to maximize his talent the way that Luka Doncic does, but that just isn't the case. So those are the 3 most notable players from tonight. So before I talk a little bit more about this game and want to talk about at least one other guy, let's go through the box score real quick for you for both teams. Again, Tim Hardaway Jr., 36 points on 8 of 13 3-point shooting. Luka Doncic, 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 10 assists in his second triple-double of the year. 29 points for Bubble Burke. 12 points for James Johnson, +19 on the night, the second best plus-minus in the box score. Also had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. James Johnson was huge tonight. Huge off the bench in 26 minutes, 4 of 6 from the field. Also knocked down a 3-pointer. Now, for the rest of the Dallas Mavericks, nobody else was in double digits. 6 points and 6 rebounds for Willie Cauley-Stein, who honestly, little disappointed with his night tonight. Could have been a little bit better. Could have really tightened up the notches, I guess I would say, on this one. But hey, a win's a win. A win is a win. And he started again, which I couldn't have been happier with. Maxi Kleber didn't really do a whole lot tonight. I was kind of surprised. 5 points, 3 rebounds, no steals, 2 blocked shots, which is good. By the way, Luka Doncic also had 2 blocked shots in this game. 4 points for Dwight Powell and 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Honestly, I kind of like the minutes that I got from Dwight Powell off the bench. I think it was solid. Boban also played, but he was kind of getting burned tonight in the 2 minutes that he played. He was a -2 in 2 minutes and did not score and only had 1 rebound. And then Josh Green was your last Maverick to play. 0 points, 2 rebounds, as I mentioned at the top of the show. Nate Hinton, Tyler Bay, Tyrell Terry did not play in this game. Hopefully the Mavs can pull away at some point against a team and one of those 3 guys, maybe all 3 of those guys, get the start. I wouldn't be surprised next game if Wes Iwundu gets to start over Josh Green, because I do want to talk about him. Wes Iwundu did not score, but he had 6 rebounds, 2 steals, And then also had 3 fouls. He was 0 of 2 from the field. Didn't take a lot, 32 minutes. But here's the important note here about Wes Iwundu. He played outstanding defense off the bench. Terrence Ross comes in, who might be leading the league in points off the bench. I don't really know exactly, but he was 21 points per game off the bench coming into this one. Wes Iwundu comes in when Terrence Ross comes in and checks him all game long. Terrence Ross was the worst in the game at -20, the worst plus minus at -20. He only had 11 points. A guy that averages 21 points per game had 11 points because Wes Iwundu was chasing him around the field, or around the court. Terrence Ross also shot 3 of 12 from the field as a whole. And here's what Rick Carlisle had to say about him. Wes did a tremendous job off the bench. I don't know if he scored a basket, but he was a plus 17. And he chased Terrence Ross around, who's really a deadly weapon for them off the bench. He deserves a lot of credit for this win. And you know what? Honestly, look, if he doesn't score, that's fine. The Mavs had more than enough offense in this game. But to be able to bring him in and play good defense on the wing, that's why you signed Wesley Iwundu. And he did his job. And I think they started Josh Green hoping that he would be that wing defender in the starting 5, and he just wasn't. So I think Iwundu could get the start in the next game. Maybe it's Trey Burke after his outstanding play off the bench, but I think you need that offense off the bench on a consistent basis. So I was really happy with Wes Iwundu. You're not going to see it in the box score, but if you watch the game, you know how valuable his defense was. So to kind of wrap up this game, now the Mavs, over the last 2 weeks, the Mavs are 5-2. And one of those 2 losses came without Luka Doncic. They have the 10th best offensive rating in the league at 113.2. They have the 2nd best defensive rating in the league at 103.3. And they have the best net rating in the league, the number 1 net rating in the league at plus 8.6. Another interesting note and something that Rick Carlisle pointed out is that besides their win against Denver, every single win this season has come in which they've held their opponents to 100 points or less. The Clippers scored 73 points. The Heat scored 83 points. The Rockets scored exactly 100 points. The Nuggets scored 117, but remember that was an overtime game, so obviously 5 more minutes, you're going to score a few more points. And then the Orlando Magic tonight scored just 98 points. I never thought I'd say this, but a team in which Luka Doncic is the best player, their bread and butter is on the defensive end of the floor. They are a defensive-minded team. And I think that is going to be so important for the Mavs and their fans to remember for the rest of the year. Now, this win also moves Rick Carlisle to win number 799. They will go into their game against the New Orleans Pelicans, and Rick will look to get win number 800. January 12th, that's Monday night, the Pelicans and the Mavs face off, and we might, no guarantees, but we might just see the return of Kristaps Porzingis. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's show. I know it came out a little bit later than I expected, but make sure you hit that like button, get down in the comments, and subscribe to the video as always. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and remember, go Mavs, baby.